Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to break down the UGC NET Computer Science previous paper of the year 2006 June, paper 2. There are 50 questions in this paper actually, so we will cover first 25 questions in part 1 and the remaining 25 in part 2. I will explain the complex concepts in simple terms and provide tips and tricks to help you ace the exam. So, whether you are a beginner or an experienced one, this video is for you. So, let's start the video. So, first question is, which of the following strings is in the language defined by grammar S and A? So, given the elements, given the non-terminals S and A. So, we have to find out which of the following strings follows the given grammar. So, the starting symbol is S0A. That means in the place of A, we can substitute any of this value. So, we can place 0, 1A or 0, 0A or 1. Right? So, now let us substitute this one, the left hand side one. So, 0, 1, 1 and 0, 0, 1. We are placing 1 in the place of A directly. So, what is the another possibility of here? 0, 1. So, place 1 in the place of A. So, these are the possibilities here. Right? So, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. But in the given options, so they have given the options. So, we are going to eliminate the option C and D. Because if you observe the given strings here generated from the grammar, so here each and every string is starting and ending with 0, starting with 0 and ending with 1. And here also starting with 0 and ending with 1. Starting with 0 and ending with 1. Okay. So we have to sort out which string is starting with 0 and ending with 1. So A is not starting and ending with 1. So B is starting with 0 and ending with 1. So which is true. Okay. So the language of given grammar is a set of strings, those starting with 0 and ending with 1. And the remaining options we will eliminate. So option D is the correct answer. Next. For a complete graph with n vertices, the total number of spanning trees is given by. So it is given by option C, n power n minus 2. For complete graph with n vertices, Taylor's formula gives the number of spanning trees as n power n minus 2. So option C is the correct one. Next. The preposition P implies Q and negation Q or P is equivalent to. We know that. So P implies Q means it gives rise to negation P or Q. Right? And we can write the negation Q or P as Q implies P. That means P implies Q and Q implies P. But this option is not directly given in the options. So in option C and D, so it is given as Q implies P or P implies Q, which is not mentioned here. So we can write this proposition as so Q implies P or P implies Q. So we can write this proposition as this one. So this follows the option C. So option C is the true. Next. The logic of pumping lemma is a good example of. Pumping lemma is a good example of a pigeonhole principle. Pumping lemma states that for a particular language to be a member of a language class, any sufficiently long string in the language contains a section or sections that can be removed or repeated any number of times, with the resulting string remaining in that language. The proofs of these lemmas typically require counting arguments such as the pigeonhole principle. So correct answer is option A. Next. The next question. Let A equals to X, where X is the value that ranges from -1 to 1, that equals to B. the function f of x equals to x by 2 from a to b is. So we have to find out whether the function f of x by 2 from a to b is injective, surjective, both injective and surjective, neither injective nor surjective. So before going to solve this problem, let us know what is meant by injective and surjective. Injective means every element in the domain must point to different elements in the codomain. So a function is called one-to-one or injective function if for all elements of a and b in a, if f of a equals to f of b, then it must be the case that a equals to b. It never maps distinct elements of its domain to the same element of its codomain. So it must point to different elements here. The different elements of a must point to different elements of codomain b. An injective function doesn't map two different elements in the domain to the same element in the codomain. If your function is injective, so this is the injective function. If the function is injective, it has an inverse function on its image. So this is the surjective function. So if every element is small b in the function b has a corresponding element a in a such that f of a equals to b. It is not required that a is unique. The function f may map one or more elements of a to the same element in b. So here one or more elements in a are pointing to the same element in b. The surjective function covers the entire codomain. If a function is surjective, it can have an inverse function if restricted to its range. And what is meant by bijective? Bijective means it is both one-to-one and onto. So it follows with both injective and surjective functions. So now let us solve the given problem. So given the function f of x equals to x by 2 from a to b. So injectivity. So injective means different inputs in a will produce different outputs in b. So according to injective function, f of a equals to f of b. That means here f of x1 equals to f of x2. Then, so what is the x value here? X by 2, right? So x1 by 2 equals to x2 by 2. So which is equals to x1 equals to x2. Thus, f of x is injective as different values of x in a lead to different values in b. Then what is in the surjective? So we will check whether the given function satisfies the surjective function or not. A function f is surjective if for every y belongs to v, there exists an x belongs to a such that f of x equals to y. That means two elements in the domain A will point to a same element in the codomain. So f of x equals to y by 2, that equals to y equals to x by 2, which is in the range of minus 1 to 1. So the range of f of x is minus 1 by 2 less than y less than 1 by 2. So that means 0.5, right? So minus 0.5 to 0.5. Y will be in the range of minus 0.5 to 0.5. If suppose we are taking a value that exceeds 0.5, that is, suppose I am taking the value 0.6 here, y equals to 0.6 belongs to b. So it cannot be reached because x by 2 is limited to minus 1 by 2 to 1 by 2. So that's why f of x is not surjective function. So option A is the correct one. Only it follows the injective. Next. The number of ones present in the binary representation of the given decimal value here. So we can solve the given expression by completely performing the multiplication and addition operations in the given decimal expression, or else we can solve it easily here. So we know that 512 means 2 power 7, 2 power 9. So 512 can be written as 2 power 9. 3 into 2 power 9 plus 7 into 64 can be written as 2 power 6 plus 5 into 8 can be written as 2 power 3 plus 3 into 2 power 0. Right. Now, we can write the value 3 here as a 2 plus 1. So 2 plus 1 into 2 power 9 plus. So 7 can be written as 4 plus 2 plus 1. So we are writing the given values such that it can be easily written in the 2 power into 2 power 6 plus 5 into 2 power 3. So 5 can be written as 4 plus 1. So we can convert this 4 in the powers of 2, right? 4 plus 1 into 2 power 3 plus 3 into 2 power 0. 3 means we can write 3 as 2 plus 1, right? So 2 plus 1 into 2 power 0. So now if you substitute the given values, we can get the answer. So 2 power 9 into 2 means 2 power 10 plus so 2 power 9 into 1. So that is 2 power 9. So 2 power 10 plus 2 power 9 plus so 2 power 6 into 2 square. So 2 power 4 can be written as a 2 square, right? So 2 square into 2 power 6, that means 2 power 8 plus 2 power 1 into 2 power 6, that is 2 power 7 plus 2 power 6. Next. So 2 cube can be 2 cube into 2 square, that is 2 power 5 plus 1 into 2 power 3, that is 2 power 3 plus 2 power 0 into 2, that is 2 power 1 plus 2 power 0. So if you perform the sum of all these numbers, you will get the decimal value. So after obtaining the decimal value, you can obtain the binary representation of the decimal value. Then you will get the answer. So that is 1 1 triple 1 0 1 0 1 1. Simply add this. So 2 power 10 is 1024. 2 power 9 is 512. So 2 power 8. So in that manner, you can easily add all these values and you can get the final decimal value. So convert the decimal value into binary value. So 1011 base 2. So now here we have a number of ones as so there are total 9 number of ones in the binary representation. So that's why the answer is 9. So which of the following expression removes the static hazard from a 2-level AND OR gate implementation of xy plus zx dash? So what is meant by static hazard in digital circuits? A static hazard occurs in combination circuits when the output monetarily changes during a transition even though the output should theoretically remain constant. Static hazards occur in a 2-level AND OR gate implementation when there is no overlap between minterms in a Karnaugh map. So here f equals to xy plus zx dash. So we need to determine which option adds a term that eliminates the static hazard. So we have to make sure that it creates we have to select an option such that it creates an overlap between the xy and zx dash. Specifically, yz ensures continuity in the transitions. So xy, zx. So if you add the yz, then it gives the continuity. The transitions with y and z equals to 1. So this term helps eliminate the hazard. Or else we can solve this problem using the consensus theorem or rule of consensus in the identity. Okay. So option C is the correct one. Which of the following logic has a maximum fan out? So which of the following logic has a maximum fan out? So to find out the answer for this question. So first we will check this table. So given the different types of logical gates here, so the fan out here, the fan out of CMOS is having the fan out of CMOS is having the maximum fan out. So from the given options, CMOS is the correct answer because it is having the maximum fan out of 50. So correct answer is CMOS. Option D is the correct answer. In a weighted code with weight 642 minus 3, the decimal 5 is represented by. So here, so if you add all these components, the decimal, it must be equal to the decimal value 5. So how do we represent this weighted code? The task is to represent the decimal number 5 as the binary code B3, B2, B1, B0 such that 6B3 plus 4B3, 4B2 plus 2B1 minus 3B0 equals to 5. So here BI is a binary number. So it may be 0 or 1. So we can make it 0 or 1. If suppose B3 is equals to 1, then it contributes to 6. If B2 is equals to 1, it contributes to 4. If suppose B2 equals to 0, then it doesn't contribute to 4 here. So it will be skipped. Okay. And if B1 equals to 1, it contributes to 2. And if B1 equals to 0, then the 2 is not 2 cannot be obtained here. Okay. So from the given weights, we have to obtain the decimal value 5. Okay. So if you make the B2 value as 0, then you can get the total sum as 5. Right. So if you make 4 as 0 here, so 6 plus 2 plus 2 minus 3. 6 plus 2 is 8 minus 3, 5. So which equals to 5. Okay. So correct option is option C. 1011. Right. So if the code is in the form of 1011, then we can get the answer option C. So here the binary value B2 must be 0 here, not 1. Next one. Up to how many variables can the Karnaugh map can be used? The K-map or Karnaugh map provides a pictorial method of grouping together expressions with common factors and therefore eliminating unwanted variables. The K-map can also be described as a special arrangement of a truth table, with the K-map Boolean expressions having up to 4 and even 6 variables can be simplified. So option D is the correct one. So it can be used up to 6. So exceeding 6, we can use the MC-Kluski method, which is in the tabular form of simplifying the expressions with more than 6 variables. Next, what is the output of the following program segment? So given the program, so we need to find out the output of the given program. So here given variables in count and digit which are initialized here. So we will take the count and digit variables here. So here count is count and digit variables. So the digit is already given as 0 and count value is given as 1. Okay. So in the first iteration here, if we check, so digit value is 0, count equals to 1. So 0 is less than or equals to 9, which is correct, right? So which is correct. So it enters the loop and increments the count. So what is the count value here? 1. So it will be incremented to 2 in the first iteration. Okay. It will be incremented to 2. Next, pre-increment the digit value. So digit value is 0, it will be incremented to 1. So the second iteration, so what will happen? In the second iteration, again we will go and check. So here now the digit value is 1 and count value is 2. So digit 2 less than or equals to 9 will satisfy. So now it enters the loop. Pre-increment count. That means it will become 3 and increment the digit value, that is 2. And this, so again the third iteration will start. So this will go on up to the 9th iteration. Okay, up to the 9th iteration it will go on. So it will continue to execute and it will increment the digit and the count values. At ninth iteration. So what will happen? So at the ninth iteration, the value will be 9 and the count value will be 10. Okay. So 10th iteration we will check. So here digit value is 9. So 9 less than or equals to 9, which is correct. So it will enter the printf statement. So it will increment the count value. So count value will become 11 and the digit value will become 10. Okay, in the 10th iteration. Now, so again we will check in the 11th iteration. In the 11th iteration, digit value is 10 less than or equals to 9, which gets failed and it doesn't enter the while loop. So it comes out of the while loop. So what is the output of the following program segment? So last value, that is, it will execute up to 10 iterations. At the 10th iteration, the count value is 11 and the digit value is 10. Right? Since it prints the count value, so we are considering the count value as 11. So answer is D, option D. Okay. Next one. A static variable is one which cannot be initialized, which is initialized once at the commencement of execution and cannot be changed at runtime, which retains its value throughout the life of the program, which is the same as an automatic variable but is placed at the head of the program. So in the given options, option C is the correct one. It retains the value throughout the life of the program. Static variable is a variable that has been allocated statically so that its lifetime of extends across the entire run of the program. So option C is the correct one. So if the following loop is implemented, what will be the output? So given a do-while loop here, in the do-while loop, first we will execute the statements, then we will check the condition. But normally in the while loop, after checking the condition only, we will enter the loop. But here, after executing the statements, we will check the condition. If the condition satisfies, then we will implement the executed instructions in the do-while loop. So now, given that number equals to 0, so here number is initialized to 0. So number is initialized to 0. Now, so number is decremented by 1. So number becomes minus 1 here. So 0 will become minus 1. Printf %d, number. The current value of a number, that is minus 1, will get printed here. Next, number post incremented. Number is incremented by 1. So number becomes 0 again. It will become 0 again. So after that, it will check the condition here. While number greater than or equals to 0, the condition is checked. Since number is 0, which is greater than or equals to 0, the loop continues. So again, it will enter the loop. So the loop will continue indefinitely because the condition number greater than or equals to 0 is always true. So therefore, the correct option is option A. The loop will run infinitely many times. So option A is the correct one. Next one. Hash define max of x comma y, x equals to x greater than y. So it is a macro definition which can find the maximum of two numbers x and y if. So here the macro does not enforce any type restrictions. It works with any type that supports the comparison operator greater than an assignment operator. Okay. So here given the macro condition, so we have to check whether the maximum of two numbers are integer or float or double. So which type of type restriction the macro will allow. Actually, so here in the macro definition, if x greater than y follows, then x will be printed. Otherwise, the y will be printed. So that is the ternary condition given in the macro definition. Okay. So here, so we are using the comparison operator and assignment operator. So there is no restriction for macro definition type. So it can work on any type. So it may be integer, float, or double. and there is no type checking. Since macros are pre-processed directives, there is no type checking at the macro level. Errors, if any, occur during compilation or runtime if there is any incompatible types are passed. So option D is correct. X and Y are both integers, float or double. So it may be of any data type. It will allow you to execute. Next, the function sprint works like printf but operates on strings. So the print will operate on the string. Okay. So normally in printf we will just print the statement to the console, but in the case of sprintf we will store the statement into a buffer and then we will print it. Let us see the difference between the printf and sprintf. Printf means the output will be displayed on the standard output console, and sprintf means the string buffer in memory. That means the particular output will be stored in a buffer in the memory. Here the written values are characters will be printed on the screen and the characters will be written to the buffer. So use case, displaying data to the users and storing data in a particular variable, that is in the buffer variable. If you want to store some data, then we will use the sprintf. Otherwise, if you want to print the statement to the output screen, then we will use the printf statement. So when to use the printf and the sprintf? We will use the printf when you want to display formatted data directly to the console, and we will use the sprintf when we need to create a formatted string for later use. That means if you want to write to a file or logging or further processing, then we will use the sprintf function. Let us see an example of the difference between the printf and sprintf. So in the printf here, so given the values x equals to 10 and y equals to 20, so sum of the values is x comma y, x plus y. So it will print the sum of these two values, 10 plus 20 is 30. It returns the 0. Okay, otherwise it returns the 0. So here the output is sum of 10 and 20 is 30. So using the printf statement, we are directly writing the statement onto the console. Whereas in the sprintf here, so we are considering a buffer here with characters 50. The size of the buffer is 50 characters, and sum of %d and %d is %d. That is the sum of the 10 and 20 is 30. So which is initially written to the buffer. So it will be stored in the buffer. The sum of the two variables will be stored into the buffer. Then using the printf, we can print the value stored in the buffer onto the output screen. So it will print the formatted string from the buffer variable onto the screen. Okay. So now the output is sum of 10 and 20 is 30. So if you want to print something to console, then you have to use the printf definitely. So this is the difference between the printf and the sprintf. So the correct option is option D. So it operates on the string. Okay, sprintf will operate on the string. Next, a relation R equals to A, B, C, D, E, F is given with the following set of functional dependencies. Which of the following is the candidate key? So from the given functions, what is the which defines the candidate key? So let us check each option here. A implies, so what is the right hand side of the A and B, and then right hand side of B is F and right hand side of A is E. So A, B, F, E. So it is not satisfying the complete relation, right? So here C and D are missing. Next, so we will check the AC. So AC implies AC, and what is the right hand side of A and C? So right hand side of A is B, E, right? And right hand side of B is F, and C is not given, F is also not given. So AC, B, F. So here it is not completely satisfying the relation R here. So it is also not a candidate key. So A is also not a candidate key. Next AD. So AD here, right? So AD. So we'll write the key first completely. Next, the right hand side of A is B and right hand side of AD is C here from the given function. C. Now B right hand side is F and A right hand side is E. So A, B, C, D, E, F. So which is satisfying the complete relation. So that's why option C is the correct one. Okay. AD maps all attributes of relation R, hence AD is the candidate key of the R. So here if you want to find out the candidate key, then we have to find out the closure of the each and every option here. So AD closure is satisfying the relation R here completely. So AD is the correct answer. Immediate updates as a recovery protocol is preferable when option B, writes are more than reads. So we know that there are two types of protocols, immediate protocol and a deferred database update. Immediate update and a deferred database update. So when database is updated by the transactions and when they execute, undo all the unfinished transactions since last checkpoint, redo all committed transactions since the last checkpoint, or database updates are preferred after the update are recorded in the log and log is sent onto the disk. So in the immediate updates, we are directly writing the updates into the database. But in the case of the deferred updates, so we are first copying them into the log and then we are updating to the database. So in the immediate updates, the consistency will be there. So that because we are directly writing the transaction details into the database, the consistency and durability is preserved here. So that's why writes are more than reads in the immediate updates. Option D is the correct one. Immediate updates as a recovery protocol involve applying changes to the database as soon as a transaction modifies the data. This method ensures that the database remains consistent and provides durability by writing the updates to the stable storage immediately. So here, writes are more than reads. So immediate updates are preferable because they ensure durability and consistency of the data. Even if a failure occurs during the transaction, the changes are recorded in the database right away, reducing the risk of a data loss. Next, which of the following statement is wrong? Two-phase locking protocol suffers from deadlocks. Timestamp protocol suffers from more aborts, and timestamp protocol suffers from cascading rollbacks, whereas two-phase logging protocol do not. And D, none of these options. So here, two-phase locking protocol suffers from deadlocks is correct, because in the two-phase we are having only two phases, that is growing phase and shrinking phase. So there is a chance of deadlocks here in the two-phase locking protocol. And timestamp protocol suffers from more aborts is also correct, because timestamp protocol may cause more aborts because transactions violating the timestamp ordering are rolled back. And timestamp protocol suffers from cascading rollbacks, whereas a two-phase locking protocol do not. It is incorrect because timestamp protocol avoids cascading rollbacks because it ensures a strict schedule, and two-phase locking protocol suffer from cascading rollbacks if locks are released early. That is without a strict two-phase locking protocol. So that's why option C is incorrect. Which data management language component enabled the DBA to define the schema components? A database schema is a skeleton structure that represents the logical view of the entire database. Schema is a structure described in a formal language supported by the database management system. So that's why the option C is the correct one. Schema DLL. Data language model. Next, a subclass having more than one superclass is called. So it is called as a category. A subclass having more than one superclass is called as a category. In ER modeling, when a subclass inherits from more than one superclass, it is referred to as category. This concept is used to represent entities that share characteristics from multiple parent entities, that is superclass. So it is an example of the multiple inheritance. A subclass is having more than one parent class, right, or superclass. So it is inheriting the properties of the multiple parent classes into a subclass. So it is in the ER modeling we call it as a category. In the balanced binary tree given below, how many nodes will become unbalanced when a node is inserted as a child of the node G? If suppose we are inserting a node here, child of node G, so how many nodes will become unbalanced? We have to find out. Okay, so we know that the balancing factor is the height of the right subtree minus left subtree. So what is the height of the left subtree here? So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Right. So 5 minus. So height of the left tree minus right subtree here. So for G. So left one is 1 and right is 0. So 1 minus 0 is 1, and for C also, so left subtree is 1 and right subtree is 0. So left subtree is 2, right? So 1, 2, 2 minus 0 is 2. And for B also, so you can find out the balancing factor like this for all the values. So if you add the child of a node G, then 3 nodes will become unbalanced. That is node A, node B and node C. So they will be unbalanced as the balancing factor is more than the modulus of 1. So we know that the balancing factor must be between -1, 0 or 1. So this one is more than the 1. So that's why the three nodes will become unbalanced. So answer is 3. Next, pre-order is also known as. So pre-order is also known as a depth first order. Trees can be traversed in pre-order, in-order or post-order. These searches are referred to as depth first search, as the search tree is dependent as much as possible on each child before going to next lead. So pre-order is a type of DFS search. Next, which of the following statement is false? Option B is false, because a tree contains a cycle. If a tree contains a cycle, then it will become a graph. So that's why option B is false. And a bipartite graph cannot have odd length cycle, and a tree is a minimal connected graph having n vertices and n minus 1 number of edges. So a tree cannot have any cycle also. Okay, so that's why the option B is the answer. Next, if the postfix form of a string is ABC plus minus D into the actual string is. So we need to find out the, we have to check each and every option here. So first we will check the option A. Okay, so what is the postfix form of this infix form? So in order to find out the postfix form, so we are taking a stack here. We are taking a stack and we are inserting the operators into the stack and the operands aside. So first we have the open parenthesis A minus and open parenthesis B plus, and then C. Okay, so now we have the closed parenthesis. So we have the open and closed parenthesis. That's why the operator will get popped out. So plus is written here. Now the stack has the values open parenthesis and minus. Next, we will insert the another closed parenthesis here. So closed parenthesis, then this operator minus will get popped out from the stack. So minus, and this element will be popped out from the stack. Okay. Next, operator into, that is the multiplication operator, and B. Okay, since there are no other operator to insert here, so we will pop out the multiplication operator from the stack. So into, so which is the answer for the which is a postfix form of the given infix form. So option A is the correct one answer. So here in the, if you want to convert infix to postfix, so we have to remember two rules that. So we have to follow the priority of the operators, and no low priority operator can be placed on the higher priority operators. Okay. Next one. Application of data structure Q is. So application of the data structure Q is A, that is level wise printing of tree. For level wise printing of a tree, a queue can be used. And whereas the priority queues are generally implemented with the helping heap, and the function call uses stacks for implementation, and a stack data structure is used in the depth first search in a graph. So that's why option A is the correct one. So this is the 25 questions in the first part, and we will discuss the remaining 25 questions in the second part. Thanks for watching the video.